So let's have a look at what Zoran Mamdani wants to do for New York, shall we? Now, it's a time of massive celebration for the left, because you'll remember that the left have been on a bit of a downturn recently. They've been kicked a lot by the Trump win, and so they're thrilled that finally they have the demographic change in New York to be able to elect a foreign communist. And the people who voted for him are genuinely thrilled. They think this is going to be great. They think it's going to go brilliantly. And I'm sure it's going to go exactly the way they think it's going to go. I'm sure it's going to be great. Again, I don't live in New York. Sorry if you live in New York. Why do you still live in New York? You're going to have many reasons not to live in New York by the end of this. So anyway, you'll notice how they're all like, I'm hopeful, I'm confident, I'm so positive. This is the language New York wants to hear right now. We're going to have a mandate from this, blah, 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 blah. I've been up since 5 a.m. doing this, blah, blah, blah. I'm ecstatic. And a lot of them are, of course, foreigners. This is life-changing. And it probably will be life-changing for a lot of people. Not necessarily in the way that they are expecting. But anyway, not only did we defeat Andrew Cuomo once, we defeated him twice, sending him back to the suburbs. Well, you're going to talk about the suburbs very shortly, I'm sure. Mamdani, I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce his bloody name. All these foreign names, man. Typical American name, Mamdani. On January the 1st, he says, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City, and because of you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refused to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. See, you can promise whatever you like. I promise that $1 million is just going to fall on your head in the next 10 seconds. Enjoy your wealth. You can promise anything. Words are the cheapest things in the world. It's funny. Honestly, it's genuinely funny. Because what this is people who have only bought into one side of reality, right? The problem that most politicians of either side have is that generally you can't form a political movement out of nothing. Right? There has to be some truth to what you're saying to bring people together to support that thing. And so there is some truth on the left, there is some truth on the right, but the sort of democratic socialist types have decided that there is zero truth on the right and only truth on the left. And what that means is that they're true believers in half of the story of reality. And so they're going to do a bunch of things, and these things will have consequences. And they will be like, oh, I can't believe this didn't work. The evil capitalists are behind it, or whatever they're going to say. But these things would have been entirely predictable in advance. And in fact, we're going to look at some of the predictable things in a minute. But anyway, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We can fight for you because we are you. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. No, you're in a democracy. You are literally a democracy. The way that you didn't lead a coup, you got elected. This whole weird fake narrative is just, I mean, it's genuinely, it's kind of sounding like Bane, right? It's kind of sounding like Bane's speech. The future is in our hands. People could be seen hugging, raising fists and waving their phones in the air. Man, I can't wait to see how this goes. I can't wait to see how this goes. Look at this. He declares to Donald Trump, if there's any way to terrify a despot, it's by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. What? New York didn't vote for Donald Trump. New York voted Democrat because it always votes Democrat, and it keeps getting worse because it keeps voting Democrat. So why? Oh yeah, New York, the crown jewel in Donald Trump's empire. If it wasn't for New York, Donald Trump just wouldn't have won the presidency more than twice. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. Roar. This power is yours, he told the crowd. The city belongs to you. It's genuinely funny. Like this guy is not living in the real world, and he is not serious. He does not have any experience of what he's doing. And he's going to go in like a bull in a china shop, I expect, and make a bunch of decisions that, well, they'll satisfy the immigrant population of New York, because of his express plan to just essentially loot wealth from the Treasury. Whatever is remaining in New York, they intend to just loot and redistribute to themselves. And it's like, okay, Bane. And the thing is, there will be second-order consequences to this. If you basically declare war on a percentage of the city, then those people you're declaring war on will say, well, okay, if we don't have political representation, we're just going to leave. And apparently, according to a poll, something like 765,000 people are preparing to leave, with about 9% of New Yorkers saying they would definitely leave if he was elected, according to a survey conducted by JL Partners. Now, a lot of people are, again, sort of, big talk. Apparently, another 25% are considering packing up and leaving. And among high earners, 7% of those making over £250,000 a year, dollars a year, would definitely flee. Well, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? He is a democratic socialist. He has come into power by saying, look, I'm just going to steal from the rich and give it to the poor. I'm literally just, like Bane, here to take over and steal their stuff. So, I mean, if you look at his policy ideas, they're just, okay, like these are great ideas. Let's have universal childcare. Right, okay, that's just going to cost loads of money. I'm sure he'll be able to find the money. Now, Republican mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa said there just won't be the funding. And that's probably true. There's not going to be the funding, especially if hundreds of thousands of the highest earners of the city just leave. Oh, he's going to make fast and free buses. Free. You mean paid for by taxpayers who are going to be leaving your city in droves. We're going to have city-run grocery stores. Can't... like, what? What? Are people in New York unable to get food or something? Like, these are just ideological boondoggles, aren't they? These are just... I had a fantasy. The Democrats and Socialists are, wouldn't it be nice if the buses were free? Wouldn't it be nice if there was taxpayer-funded grocery stores? Wouldn't it be nice? I don't know, maybe, but it's going to be great. So, of course, his plan as well is to revolutionize policing and social workers, looking after the people with mental health in New York, which, I'm sure it's going to be great. So basically his plan is to spend $1 billion putting mental health workers in the position of dealing with people who are having mental health crises on New York streets rather than the police. And there are something like, 180,000 of these? So apparently they respond to approximately 180,000 calls involving emotionally disturbed individuals. And apparently 90% of those calls were handled without police involvement. So that's great. We're going to have mental health workers patrolling the streets of New York, dealing with the insane people that just get let out onto the streets of every major city these days. So I'm sure that's going to go great. I'm sure that's not going to be a problem. He's a defund the police type anyway, so he's definitely going to be against them. But what I like about this is, like, I don't think we should have billionaires. It's like, don't worry, I don't think you're going to have billionaires. I think they might all leave. He, again, just fundamentally, he has the typical leftist worldview, which is, the billionaires are swimming around in their vats of gold like Scrooge McDuck. He literally says, I don't think we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality, and ultimately what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. I've yet to hear why equality will fix anything. But on the plus side, at least he's really showing de Tocqueville to be correct. Right? Equality is the ruling principle of democracy. It's not liberty. Liberty is a side effect of democracy. It's equality that is the ruling principle, and it can't broach any kind of hierarchy. And so they literally live in a land of delusion. Like, I love this. Billionaires shouldn't have so much money. It's like, but the billions isn't in liquid capital. It's in valued assets like businesses that employ people. These billions are people's livelihoods that we're talking about, as well as actual assets that produce things and do things. But it shouldn't come as any great surprise that, I don't think we should have billionaires, except for those billionaires who support me. For some reason, that Soros spawn, George Soros, is for some reason funneling loads of money to him. It's like, right, so he's against billionaires as long as they're not his billionaires. Anyway, the thing is, genuinely, he is a communist, but this is not terribly surprising as he is a democratic socialist. The end goal is seizing the means of production. This person, I can't believe this is actually happening. Why not? This was always on the table. The democratic socialists, they are communists. They've not been shy about all of this. They've been completely upfront with that's what they want to do. So why is this a shock? Another aspect of this, which is not terribly surprising, is he just hates white people. He's just ethnic resentment from what is an Indian immigrant from Uganda to the United States, a country that took him in after decolonization when Idi Amin was just like, get out or we kill you. And instead of going back to India, which I'm sure would have been great for him, he went to America, had a great life, and it's like, yeah, and you know what? I just hate white people, though. It's like, oh, thanks, white people, for taking me in. Just really, really hates them. And so that's why he wants race-based property taxes. And this is just genuinely incredible. It shows you exactly how he thinks. Exactly the mindset, right? He says that he wants to shift the burden of the city's tax to the outer boroughs, to richer and whiter neighbourhoods. Right. So, I mean, that's pretty explicit. He wants the white people to be taxed. He wants to extract wealth from the white people and give them to his immigrant clients, which are the base that he has cobbled together, because something like 37% of New York is first-generation immigrant at this point, and they overwhelmingly voted for him. Something like 84% of them voted for him. So basically, foreigners have come to New York, realised that they can get together in a coalition and vote to extract wealth from the native population of the city, or what little remains of it. And unsurprisingly, that's going to drive them out. I mean, I wouldn't stay. God. Like, you have genuinely a non-American who's turned up and been like, yeah, great, I hate white people, and I've now found a way to gain political power, Bane style, and I'm going to use that to literally steal your money and give it to these foreigners for free, and for some reason, that's justice. And that's something you should expect to be grateful for, because we're making the world a better place. I mean, there's the things about, like, you know, he wants to legalise prostitution, all this sort of stuff. He wants to abolish the police. He wants to abolish prisons. All of these things are very racially coded, because fundamentally, these are problems that are going to be experienced by white people. The consequences of these things are going to be experienced by white people. He genuinely seems to hate them. And so it's like, right, okay, well, there we go. There we go. This is what happens when you have unfettered mass immigration. You open the door to these people who can create a coalition between all of the immigrants on the promise that I'm just going to steal their wealth. And once that's been drained out and redistributed, it won't last. And they will end up reproducing the conditions of their home countries in the United States, because they don't understand how the United States became rich in the first place. And honestly, I said this in the video I did on my Sargon channel, I'm kind of for it. This is clearly an experiment whose time has come, and it needs to be played out so we can show the results of it sooner rather than later. Just get it out of the way, and so we can say, look, this is what happens. It is predictable. And honestly, it's kind of evil. Like, there's just genuine animus to just, no, I just want to steal the money of the white people. And that's just evil, isn't it?